And good morning, and welcome to Poppy's Workshop. And I'm Richard, also known as Poppy. It's been a while. It is now, 8 September, and it's been almost a month since I had that failed video attempt a little while ago. Let me adjust this. I've got a cardboard up here trying to block some of the sunlight. There we go. Okay. So, anyway, this is going to be a short video today. I have a lot of stuff to do around the house. The air conditioning, central air conditioning, just went out Friday evening. And I'll tell you, if it had to go out, it had to go out when it did. This was actually very, very lucky because the temperatures have been they've been brutal this summer, and we've gone months of 90 plus, some 95, 100-degree weather, real feel of 105 plus degrees. It's been pretty bad, but the temperatures broke, so that it's going down to 68 degrees at night, so we can open the windows up and cool the house down. So the air conditioning guy comes tomorrow, thankfully, and it's an easy fix, and it's kind of irritating is that it's going to cost me a few $100, and I know that the part itself is probably 40 or 50 bucks, and I'm sorry about that. I'm playing with the microphone on my strap here. I could probably replace it myself. I just don't like messing around with high voltage, even though I used to do it in the X-ray business. So, it's about every 5 years the capacitor goes out, basically because the way that our systems run out here during the summertime, they're just brutal. It just, the stopping and starting just wears that capacitance circuit down. So anyway, I am still working on the 125. I almost forgot. Wait a second. I'm sorry. I got a cut in front of you here. I have the garage door open, so you're gonna hear some noises from the outside world. Cut in front of you. Okay. Let me get this. I forgot all about this thing as I was preparing. So, besides the weather, dealing with a lot of things for myself, it's just been physical has been very difficult for me. Doctor switching medications and things like that just it's made it difficult to get into sawing and everything like that. But the past few weeks I've been feeling, physically not that well, but mentally doing a little bit better, just trying to muscle through things. And, life is what it is, you consider the alternatives. And speaking of which, I do want to mention that Judy Gale Roberts, we know her as the Intarsia Queen from Tennessee, just a wonderful, wonderful human being. How she gave to the scroll saw Intarsia community. She passed away a few days ago, and I call her quite young. Look, I'm 62 years old, but she's a little bit younger than me, and I won't go into too many details. You can read it on her Facebook group. Her husband had posted a few things, and other people are posting, as well as the Scroll Saw Village. You can kind of go from there. But yeah, it's a great loss because she's given so much to the community. But we need to take her as an example as to being open to share with our fellow scroll saw artists, people, hobbyists, business people, whatever you want to call them, call us. But we need to stick together. And in some ways, that's kind of sad. I was on Scroll Saw Village last night, and somebody had resurrected a thread from like 5 years ago, and the gentleman who actually started it had passed away during COVID, and to see this thread resurrected, and you know, it's kind of weird seeing those things. You get close to people, and through the forums, sometimes through videos and stuff like that, through streams like this. Actually, there was a Second Amendment gentleman who I saw this video come up that basically said, "I'm dead." And it's like, whoa, wild. He had been diagnosed last year with pancreatic cancer. They thought they had caught it early, thought he'd have, 5 years or whatever, but apparently they didn't catch it early. So December of last year, he pre-recorded his video basically saying, "Hi, if you see this video, I'm dead." And it's really a sobering kind of thing. Yeah, just kind of sad. But, he had the grace, he had the wherewithal to do that. And so the way that I look at it is not only through his videos, he was teaching people how to live, but dagnabbit, that last video, he showed us how to die. And that's something to consider. So yeah, kind of a downer week in a way. Again, dealing with my own physical issues and mental issues associated with that and the weather. But I'm trying to keep on keeping on. So there you go. Well, anyway, as I said, I'm working on the 125 toys. I think I'm at 90. Yeah, I think I'm at 90 toys. So I'm just about there, which is good. And these are the last ones that I recently finished in the last week, actually the last couple of days. Sorry guys, my sleeve, I don't want to call it a sleeve, but whatever, the straps keep falling down on my schmuck, on my shop apron. I got to tighten it up more or something. Anyway, so let's take a look at some of the things that I've been doing. As you know, usually what I do is I specialize in, the little wheeled cars and things like that. This is the mascot, and I scaled it down a little bit because I ran out of the wheels a little bit bigger, but I wanted to get more out of the wood and everything, because 125 pieces using 3/4 inch solid wood wheels, pegs, and all that tends to get a little expensive. So I got to be real careful with that. So that's the mascot. You've seen it many times. You've probably seen I did a whole bunch of these, but I still have to make a decision now. These have the removable little people and a nice little car. But as I have been, let me move that up to the screen here. As I have been researching child safety, getting toys certified and everything like that to be child safe, I've had to kind of reconsider how I do things. So I have, I think, 12 of these little cars, or 15, I forgot, that I made, and they have the removable little people. However, I've shown this in the past. This is the choke hazard tester, just a little tube, 1.5 inches or something. And obviously that there represents the throat of a typical child, or mouth, and that is a choke hazard. So what I have started to do with these two toys, so let me talk through these toys and we'll go there. So this is the Speed Racer, as I call it. This is based on a design by Steve Good. And what I did, though, is basically a mix of a small 1-inch belt sander and a Dremel. my rotary tool, I've kind of carved the driver in the wood itself. So, whoop, let me get you back in the middle there. So that's what I did, and I was doing. What happened, let me get my failed piece here. Where is he? Okay, this is off my windowsill of failure. So I was making this piece, a little bit different car. I think it was I don't remember, it was a Ferrari or something like that. It was based on a little 1950s racer. Well, what happened, as I was hammering in, let's see, is that the one? Oh, wait a second. Oh, there it is. Okay, so let me put this, yeah, this failure is a failure because, let me do this, he wobbles. One wheel gets up a little bit higher. Reason being is I think when I was drilling my through holes, there was some sawdust, chunks, and it kind of canted a little bit there. But this one is funny. So nice and solid, as you can see. And I don't know if you can see that right there. JJE, hey, welcome aboard. So right there you can see a little crack. So as I was hammering the wheels in, tapping them into place, because I had Forstnered so deep, and there's not a lot of distance on either side. You're talking what, a 1/16 of an inch, two millimeters maybe. Well, it cracked. So I'm like, oh man. Well, you gotta learn. Oh, get back in the camera range here. So let's see. There's the crack right there. You can just see it on screen. There you go. So anyway, it broke right off. So what I decided to do is glue it back together. And again, I'm not giving this away or anything like that. I may just put it in the toy pile. Pardon me as I get my, I'm going to move the microphone so you're going to hear it bouncing around here. Wait a second. Oh, man. I'm trying to get back into things because the strap keeps falling. So I'm going to put this right here. And I think volume is okay. All right. So where to go? Oh, so anyway, I'll put this in the toy box. My wife babysits a couple small kids, and when my grandson comes over, I mean, we got 3 rooms of toys. It's ridiculous. We're empty nesters, but anyway. So I glued it together, and then I said, you know something? I'm going to glue the little guy in, the little people, because that'll help strengthen everything here. So I did that, and as I did that, I thought back to this piece. This being a, whoops, get back in the screen here. This being a choke hazard, I am thinking, I'm just going to glue this right in. Because most of the kids who are going to be using this are going to be sub 4 years old. Maybe some of the 5 or 6 year olds will play for a little bit. But for all intents and purposes, yeah. So I've got, like I said, I think 12, 15, something like that. That I think I'm just going to say the heck with it. Even though they're already treated with linseed oil, it should work with the Gorilla Glue. And I'm just going to glue those in, and I don't have to worry about a choke hazard. That is probably the biggest worry that I have when I do things. Okay, so let's see. Is this, yeah, this was the other piece. So what I wound up doing then is changing how I did this car. As I said, I used the belt sander, a little 1 inch, just 1, 2, 3, just kind of working it. Yeah, God darn it, I keep getting out of range here. So, just working it to get a rough shape, and then taking my rotary tool with a sander bit on it and kind of shaping it. It's still rough though, so it's like, yeah, kind of abstract, but it does the trick for a little bit older kids. But then I thought about it and said, you know something, before I put it on the Franken router, why don't I Forstner, and that's how I did this one, the failure, why don't I Forstner and then glue it in? So that's what I did here. But the other thing that I did is, if you notice, he's sitting a lot lower. So rather than drill low, I'm only drilling like halfway to maintain strength, and then cutting the bottom of the little people off. Where is he here? So I take a little people, and I cut, like that much off, and then he sits nice and low like a regular race car driver. So now again, we have a very safe toy. What I'm probably going to do is, this is the one that broke. This is going to be my test piece. From 4.5 feet, you drop a piece 10 times at different angles, and hopefully nothing breaks off, and that will be the big test. Okay, make sure I got the right cars here. Put this back on the windowsill of failure. So I've been working on some other cars, and this is just a non-Little People version of this one. Because again, at 125, add in wheels, add in Little People, these things actually, production-wise, become quite expensive. So, I'm trying to balance giving a good quality product, a good safe product, and then keeping the cost down, keeping as efficient, keeping waste as little as possible. So we have that. So then I saw a picture. You have these people who build little race cars. They're not, I guess they're kind of go-karts, and they're bigger than go-karts, just a little bit, but then they model them after the old 1950s cars. So I saw this car and I said, hey, let me make something here. So let's get this closer. Make sure I stay on camera this time. Here is the front view. I forgot what this was. Shoot, I forgot. It could have been a Ferrari, 1950s Ferrari, or shoot, I forgot the other name. But anyway, so if you look at the profile, you'll see that I tapered the front just a little bit, rounded the top. Then if you look at the back, I boat-tailed the back. And then if you look, I don't know if behind the driver, you can see I tapered the rear wing as well. And all I did all of it on my soft horizontal barrel sander. You can't quite see it. It is over there. Well, that's the Frankenrouter, but on the other side of the Frankenrouter is my soft sander, and I think you've seen me use that before. So I really like this guy, and again, he's glued in, and I brought him up just a little bit higher, so I actually think I need to bring him a little lower next time to get his head about even with that. But this isn't bad. It has a good balance and a good look. And that's what I'm always looking for when I do pieces. Is, I want it to have, I don't want to necessarily say a realistic look, but I want it to look balanced more than anything else. So, let's see, that handles these cars. I did those. Yesterday, as I was thinking through all the different toys that I've produced so far, at the time it was 80, was it 80? Maybe I'm at 100 now. I've lost track. So there was about 80 of them, and I'm looking at it and saying, well, I kind of got ages up, into 7, 8, 9 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, that kind of thing. And I was thinking, all right, I need to go younger. I know I did a couple roller rattles. I did a dinosaur, and I think there's a sheep. I showed those a while back. So I decided, I always liked the Volkswagen, the Bug, and just needed something really, really quick to cut out. And, you know, here I just did a Forstner for the big window. But I want something where the kid is starting to handle things and can get his hands in it and everything like that. So just get a couple of these little guys here. Then I'm thinking, all right, I haven't done anything other than for those other two pieces for the little guys. And so made a couple of each, 3 of these. So this is kind of a variation of the rattles that I've done in the past, minus the rattle. I've made them thinner, so instead of 3/4 inch wood, I've used 1/2 inch. Put it on, after cutting it out, putting it on the Franken router, so it has a much rounder feeling on it. Because if you look at the 3/4 inch, yeah, it's profiled, but it's flat for not quite 3/4 of an inch. Whereas here, this is more rounded. So this here is something the child can hold on to, can manipulate, put it in his mouth, everything like that. I am planning on experimenting with beeswax and coconut oil, which is what you put on the with wooden spoons that you actually use for cooking and cutting boards. So that'll richen the color, smooth it out some. I've got to smooth these a little bit more. I try to get these absolutely butter smooth. This, I forgot what this is. This is ash. Ash is really hard to do that with. So that's something to consider. Then some mahogany. I made a couple, I forgot if I did only 1 or 2. You know, not a rattle, but again, this is a piece where the parents can wave it in front of the child and, ooh, 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 you know, doing those weird things that us parents do with infants. Speaking of which, I'm not going to say it. I'll announce it when it's announced. So, anyway, here is a kahula bear. I like to call it kahula. A koala bear, or you want to call it a kalur. I'm not a drinker, but anyway, I think these are kind of cute. As they get a little bit older, it just becomes a comfort item for them. Again, something they can manipulate, play with. So made those out of mahogany. And again, these are the 1/2 inch. So there you go. That I did. On Scroll Saw Village. Oh, actually, I think it was this car. On Scroll Saw Village, I did share the plans to this, so you can find that. All right, so the other thing, I'm thinking, hey, I need, not, you know, this is still baby stuff. And I saw, and this is the one I don't like, you know, I had these balls. Let me see, get that closer here. I had these balls and I drilled out the hole. I had these 3/8 dowels and had some various rings and decided, you know, let's hear what this sounds like. Let me get it closer to my mic. It's a nice hollowish sound. So, you know, again, the parents, they don't get it here. Put it in your mouth, kid. Arr, arr. Okay, I'm out of control. Sorry. So, the things that I considered here. This ball here, let me get this. Not a choke hazard. So, if this falls and breaks, not a choke hazard. What I also did is I drilled probably about halfway through. So this dowel goes quite far through, and I used the white Gorilla Glue and put it in. And it's solid. You know, it's supposed to pass, I think it's like 10 or 15 pound twist test, and I can feel the dowel twisting. And it's the dowel itself that's twisting, not, you know, not the joint itself. So that's solid. So I made 3 of these. And again, doing the twisting, the other test, again, I forgot, 7 pounds or something like that to test that. So let's see, what do we have here? I had to think, all right, I got to think of the older kids. And I always remembered having one of these, and you're going to say, something's not quite right with this. And yep, you're absolutely right. And I will explain, and I think you figured it out already. This is one of the games that you usually saw on a pub table, restaurant table, or something like that. And this is the jump peg. And I'm still trying to get these to loosen up because I work really nice, tight tolerances, and sometimes a little bit too much. So I am giving them an extra peg just in case. So you know this game, and this is jump. So what you do is you jump a peg and take it off. Yeah, I can't. Still working on this. I don't want to go too large on the hole or these things will come out. Golly, some of these holes are tighter than others. I may have to revisit the hole. But anyway, some of the holes are really good, like that. And the idea is jump and take a peg. I'll go, oh, I think I just screwed up. Yeah, I didn't do a very good job here. And I don't remember if you can only jump one at a time. I'm going to have to, when I do the rules and everything. So maybe you can answer, JJE, and whoever else is on board. When you play the jump game like this, are you only allowed to jump one peg at a time? Or let's say in this case, I can jump 2 pegs. Yeah, see, that hole's a little tight. So I'm gonna re-drill that just a little bit. And plus, the arthritis in my hands is really bad right now. So my fine motor skills have deteriorated quite a bit, unfortunately. So, yeah, see, I can't get that out. And it's actually wasn't that hard. So, yeah, I can do this, take that. Do that. I'll do that. Uh-oh. I think I screwed up. I'm not going to be able to jump that piece now. Anyway, so you know that game. So I'm going to make a few of those. And just as a refresher, oops. Yeah, see, I can't. I have trigger finger also, so my hand will lock up, unfortunately. As long as I can still scroll saw. Oh, and I do have one other thing to show. So I'm going to revisit that. I'll probably cut out 3 of these. So as a reminder, I am making 125 toys for various ages. Oh, you don't remember? Google it. Google it. I think it's called the... It's either usually these are with T's, but look under pub game and jumping T's or jumping pegs. See if they have something. So anyway, back to what I was saying. I forgot. So anyway, this organization called Moms Advocate or Moms Advocate works with children who have cancer. And one of the big things they do is they have not only fundraising, but they have an event that's going to be taking place where they give costumes to the children. I'm assuming that it's, since she said it's due, I think the first week of October is when they're packing the activity bags. These costumes like Superman and all that stuff will... These bags will have costumes and activities for these kids who have cancer. And I'm assuming it lines up with Halloween because obviously if the kids are immune compromised, they are unable to go out for Halloween. I'm just surmising on this, but they get uniforms. They get costumes so they can dress up and everything. It's kind of empowering for the kids. And it kind of goes along with what I do at Poppy's workshop is, kind of empowering the children and giving them the ability to use their imaginations to, manipulate things and help with dexterity and all that stuff. So that's the goal of Poppy's workshop. So it kind of aligns with them. Well, she had asked if I could do 125 toys. I'm like, yeah. That wound up being a lot. And then again, as I was thinking, it was, oh man, a lot of toys. Yeah, I do 10, 20 for an organization and take a pause, do other things and everything like that. So it's like, yeah. Add in the issues that I had this year, basically being blind for a couple months because of the eye injury, then the issues with the heat. I think that I'm going to, instead of a window air conditioner, I forgot, what is it, the units? You have the unit outside and then you have the little exchanger inside. I forgot what they call that. I think I may have one of those installed so that I can make this room 365 days a year, even with the winters, even though they're mild. Like right now, here it is September, and we're 70, what does it say here? Oh, 67. That's at the airport, but we're about 70 degrees. I have the big overhead door partially open about 4 feet. That way I'm not running the... I put one of those other units in. It should be much quieter since the noise will be outside. So that'll be important. So all that now to say is to show you a piece that actually, I think I have about 2.5 hours into it so far. That's from design. And one of the things this mom, where she got inspired to do this work with kids with cancer, is her own child. David had childhood cancer. He's 8 years old now, doing very well. So I think it was 2, 3, 4 years old or something. I'll have to read the biography. So he was quite young when he got the cancer, then went under treatment. And that is a ugly, scary thing for children. But they're so darn brave. Sometimes ignorance is bliss. And yeah. So anyway, she started the organization because she saw some need for the children. And, I just kind of said, hey, how many toys do you need? 125. So we did that. The last video I did show you the Christmas tree that I made. Actually, I made 2 of them. That was the Sume design, and one went to a childhood friend. Her father was my drafting architecture design teacher for 4 years in high school, and I still use so much of what I learned from him, especially attention to detail, following procedures, following processes. His best friend happened to be my woodshop teacher for 4 years. So anyway, she gave a generous donation, and in turn, I gave her one of my carved spoons that had the daisy sunflower, and I forgot what it is. And one went to her, and then the other one, I was kind of hoping that Mom's Advocate could use it in October and auction it off or something, but they'll have different plans. So the other one will go to them, but I had this idea and said, this young man, she calls him King David. So I Googled, looked online, everything like that, and said, I need to come up with a design, and I'm going to show it part by part and then assemble it. So give me a moment here as I separate the pieces. So I kind of wish that I did more trees over here, but again, this is first design, and I'm going to build from there. This is how you kind of design something, a trial and error. So this is Wenge? Yeah, this is Wenge or Wenge. I forgot what they call it. But what I wanted to start as a backdrop is something dark and foreboding. And when I finish this with linseed oil, this sucker is gonna go dark. And that's the idea. And this is 1/2 inch wood. And right now I just started basic shaping, trying to get some more 3D. And I'm thinking I may do the backside too. I'm still debating. So I will do that. Now for the second layer, have a couple soldiers with swords and spears, and a little bit of background there. And this is mahogany, and this is 1/4 inch mahogany right there. And my mind, as I was building this, I was saying, okay, this side would be the Israelites, this side would be the Philistines. All right, and I've actually, I should copy it over or provide a link sometime, but I actually did a sermon on David and Goliath, and I'll have to look it up. I forgot the title about it, David and Goliath, but it was basically talking about fear of people, fear of failure, and it's Goliath could not buy his sneakers in Walmart. I don't remember if that was the title, but that was one of the things that I said, because Goliath was a freak, to be honest. When you look at it from the quote unquote, let me get my fingers here, quote unquote, average human being. It's like, he couldn't get sneakers at Walmart. So that was one of the lines that I had in that. But one of these days I should provide a link to that, because that's actually one of my favorite sermons that I do. All right, let me put that to the second. So let's build it. So here, right now, are the first, would be the third and second layers. So you can see how that's starting to build out. And again, that's a very foreboding tree. I do need to add one more tree. I may cut it out and make a wide base and glue it on. I may do that. And then my new design will have that already in. Okay, now for piece number 1, let's get that in there. So you see Goliath. And Goliath has the spear, the shield, and you can see his sword there. But if you look carefully, let me, let's see, do I have something I can use as a backdrop here? I need something dark. Here we go. Let's do this. Now, you should be able to see this. What do you see? Right in him, there's David with the slingshot. Now, it's funny. Most people, when you hear the story of David and Goliath, at first they think, oh, a slingshot. It's the one you pull back with the rubber bands and everything, but no. It's a sling, and you add the rock to it, spin it over your head, and these guys got so good at that. So you can see he's kind of built right in there. And let's add that to rows 2 and 3. And let me pinch it. It's not quite lined up. Trying to be real careful here. There we go. So now, there we go. Get my hand in a better position here. There. So now you can see how that's coming together. Now what I'm debating about is adding a 4th layer, say mountains or hills, so that'll darken the background a little bit, so I think David will show through. And if I put a spacer, I may add lights behind it. So I'm thinking of perhaps doing a 3mm backing and then putting a 1/4-inch spacer, and that way I can add lights behind, and that may be really cool. Or otherwise what I may do is make this freestanding, make the base semicircular, and then add a tea light behind. So that's what I am working on right now. And as I said, this is about, from design to here, it's about 2.5 hours. The cut on this is actually very easy. My one concern, of course, are these spears. There we go, I'll get my finger in there. Are these spears, because they're quite thin, there is a little bit of flex to it. As long as they're not hit, they will be fine and dandy. So you can see how thin they are. Golly, man, I am so bad at this camera stuff. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, pretty good there. I'm pleased. I'm pleased for, first design of this. Let me put it on the scroll saw table here. That actually worked out quite well, and I was able to tell the story in that, and I thought it was real good there. So I think that covers everything that I wanted to talk about, give you the update as to what's going on with me. I am in a lot of pain, the stiffness and everything like that. My rheumatologist, let's see, I'm on my 3rd shot, so that's 6 weeks. Yeah, so 6 weeks ago, she did it a lot longer, but I started 6 weeks ago on this new injection that I only have to do every other week, and I don't like it. It just doesn't seem to be working as well as I had hoped. I'm sure as she hoped. I go back to her, I think, next month. I did slip in an injection of my old stuff at the 1 week mark, but that may be, I don't know if one is canceling the other. I just wanted to see if I could get some relief. And that wasn't too good. So I'm sure we're going to revisit it, and I'll give it to the end of the year, mainly because I'm going to be switching my insurance come January 1st. I made a mistake in my insurance last year during open enrollment, and it's just a pain in the neck trying to get certain coverages. You got to fight for it. So I'm going to go back to my old one, pay a little bit more, have a higher deductible, and all that. So, yeah, that kind of not only messes with you physically, but mentally, it just wears on you. I come home from work, and granted, look, I'm up at 2 in the morning. It just wears on you. It's tiring. And then mentally, it taxes you and wears you down, and you've got to fight those negative feelings and everything like that. So that's kind of where I'm at with things. Hopefully in the next couple weeks I'll have all this finished. I've got a few things coming in today, but right now I've got a lot of yard work to do. I've been trimming out the bushes. They just went cuckoo crazy because the rains came back and the temperatures dropped, so they just outgrew themselves. The people say, yeah, the azaleas and all this, you just have to trim them once a year after they bloom. Dude, I got to do them every 2 or 3 weeks. That's how fast they grow. So kind of terrible there. So I just butchered them yesterday, and now I've got to clean it up. I'll put some out in the yard and mulch it with my tractor and take care of that. So I've got all that to do today while the temperatures are low. And there you go. I think that's it. Hopefully next week we'll figure out, do something on the scroll saw that is going to be interesting to look at, because right now, here's what I'm doing. I'm going to make a couple more. Let's get that so you can see it. I'm going to make a couple more of these, so 2 cuts. And yeah, if you look, man, that's close on the line. So I'm going to cut this side. I'm going to do these sides inside the line, because as you can see, I am trying to use as much scrap as possible here. And yeah, even that edge there is real close. So I'm going to go inside the line. Then I'm going to draw out all those holes there. So kind of boring stuff. Not much for you to see. And I know my yakking for the last 45 minutes is probably kind of boring, but kind of a catch up on things. So I hope that pretty much does it. So with that, may the Lord richly bless you and make it a great day right here at Poppy's Workshop. I'll be back next week, 10 a.m. Bye now.